I want to talk to you about credit cards for bad credit with no deposits. And I will be talking about three categories of credit cards. So you have unsecured cards are okay options for bad credit. I'll be speaking to you also about the cards to avoid because there are some credit cards you need to avoid. There are unsecured credit cards. They're pretty interesting, but you definitely want to avoid them if you can, okay? And you also have credit cards that can only be used at certain retailers. Let me first talk to you about the first category. So, unsecured cards, there are okay options for bad credits. So, number one, you have the Pedal One Visa credit card. So, if you're looking for a credit card for a bad credit with no deposit, instant approval, think about the Pedal One Visa credit card. And what I love about this card is that it has no annual fee, so that's really good because a lot of cards in this category they charge you a lot of cash in terms of annual fee, but this card charges you nothing. You are able to you can actually get a maximum credit limit of $10,000. Okay, even though if you have bad credit, you could probably get 5,000. Okay, and what I love about this card is that you have 2 to 10% cash back at select merchants. So this is a pretty high reward program. 2 to 10% cash back at select merchants. Okay, so this is actually this makes the Pedal One Visa credit card one of the best unsecured cards for people with poor credit. Okay, so this is kind of cool, and it doesn't, by the way, it doesn't charge foreign transaction fee. So there's no foreign transaction fee. Also, the card actually allows you basically depending on your credit, you might instead be approved for the Pedal One Rise Visa credit card. Okay, and that Rise version of the card doesn't earn rewards and has an annual fee of $59, which is really not ideal, but still reasonable for those for those with bad credit. Okay, so think about that. Now, one thing I want to say also is that you need to be aware of the fact that you might not get a very high credit limit to start with, but that's no problem because you want to get your foot in the door, right? So if you have poor credit, you want to get a foot in the door by having an unsecured credit card. And once you get the unsecured credit card, you can increase the limit afterwards. So if you're looking for credit cards for bad credit with no deposit instant approval, I want you to really think about Prosper. So the Prosper card, okay? Prosper used to generate. I mean, they used to approve loans, personal loans back in the days. Now, in addition to personal loans, they are also approving credit cards, and their credit card is actually good for you if you are looking for a no deposit, unsecured credit card for bad credit with instant approval. Okay. Only thing is that Prosper is charging you a $59 annual fee. So $59 annual fee. You might say it's still high, but compared to all the other choices out there on the market, 59 is still decent. By the way, they are even waiving this fee the first year. So if you sign up for AutoPay before your first statement, they will waive the $59 the first year for you. Okay. But this card has no rewards. This is the kind of card that you really get to build credit. Okay. This is what it is. You want to build credit with this card. But the thing is that while the Prosper card has an annual fee, you can waive it. Okay. So initial credit lines range from 500 all the way to 3,000, and Prosper automatically reviews your account to see whether you qualify for a credit line increase. So if you are in a cash crunch, Prosper will give you, as a new cardholder, immediate access to a 50% of your credit limit upon approval of the Prosper card. So this is kind of cool. So the card itself is actually issued by Coastal Community Bank, and it's primarily designed for those who are building credit. Okay, so this is something to really think about, but it's a relatively good card. Now, what I love about this card also is that you have the possibility to upgrade. You can upgrade the card later on, maybe to another card within the Prosper family or outside the Prosper family. Okay, this is a card specifically to help you build credit. Okay, but just keep in mind, unlike the Pedal One Visa credit card, it doesn't earn any rewards. So there are no rewards. You use the card, and just make sure that you pay the balance that you have before the due date. If you're looking for credit cards for bad credit with no deposit, instant approval, I want you to think about Scene Mastercard, the Scene Mastercard. And what I love about this card is that you are able to get approved real fast, and you can be approved for a relatively decent line of credit, all the way. I mean, maximum $3,000. So the limit goes from 300 all the way to $3,000. Okay, but they're charging you the annual fee. Actually, there is an annual fee attached to this card, and the annual fee goes from $0 all the way to $75. $0 to $75. So something to really think about. And your initial limit will depend on your credit worthiness. Okay, and you also they have the same Mastercard has a similar process as the Prosper card in the sense that you might get a credit limit increase after making at least 5 consecutive on-time payments of at least the minimum amount due. Okay, and also you can get access to your SIM card immediately upon approval by adding the virtual card to a digital wallet, such as Apple Pay or Google Pay or even Samsung Pay. Okay, so the flexibility is there if you need the cash real fast. What I love about this card, regardless of the rewards, because the card is kind of similar to Prosper, because there's no rewards, there's no. So this card is good because you can start you can start building credit right away, right away. Like you can start building credit today. For instance, if you are approved today, they will give you access to the card electronic. Like you can have a virtual version of the card right away before the actual card comes in the mail, and you can start building credit right away by making payments and paying those payments back. Okay, so the speed the speed that comes with this card is really fantastic. So if you are new to credit or you are trying to rebuild credit after something like you filed for bankruptcy or whatever, and you're trying to really come back on track, the Scene Mastercard can really help you, especially because of the features it has. Okay, so remember, initial credit limits 300 all the way to $3,000. So if you're looking for credit cards for bad credit with no deposit, instant approval, think about the Brightway credit card. The Brightway credit card, and this credit card actually has an annual fee up to $89. So $89, that's actually the kind of maximum annual fee that you have to pay. Okay, $89, and there is a reward program with a card, and it's unlimited 1% cashback. By the way, this Brightway card actually is a product from One Main Financial, and if you are aware of One Main Financial, they're pretty known for when it comes to personal loans. That's how they started before actually diversifying now. But they started as a personal loan provider. They still do provide personal loans, but yeah, they were known to provide personal loans up to $10,000 for a long time before they actually now branched out into credit cards. Okay, so now the Brightway credit cards actually requires an invite. That's the only thing. Okay, so you got to receive an invite from them. Otherwise, you can't just go there. You can't just go to the website and just apply. No. Now, in addition to earning rewards, the card offers incentives for making 6 consecutive on-time payments. If you qualify, you may choose one or two milestone rewards, a credit limit increase up to $15,000, or a reduced purchased APR no lower than 19.99%. Okay, so this is really good. It's also possible to upgrade from the Brightway card to the Brightway Plus card, which has no annual fee. Okay, though this perk is only available to applicants who applied within a certain time frame. So just be aware of the time frame that you need to really abide by to actually qualify for the perks that come. Now, one thing I want to say also about the Brightway credit card is that if you think about it, in its category, getting a potential credit limit of $15,000 is really good. $15,000 is really good if you have poor credit. So kudos to Brightway credit card. So those are the four unsecured cars that are key options for bad credit. There are some cars that you need to avoid. I think I've said this to you before, right? You gotta ask yourself, what are you looking for exactly, before actually going for those cars. So let me share with you a few cars that actually, they're problematic. But hey, listen, if you have no choice, go for them. Okay, that's only all I can tell you. That if you have no choice, go for them. So with lower cost options available, there is just no reason to pay sneaky fees or put up with strict limits on where you can use the card. Okay, so let me share with you a few products to avoid this year. Let me first talk to you about the cars with excessive fees. I mean, those are cars that really are killing you with fees like crazy, crazy. So you have Cerulean Mastercard. So I'm gonna put this on the screen because I want this to be clear. So Cerulean Mastercard. This is a card that you definitely want to avoid. Okay. You have the Destiny Mastercard. Destiny Mastercard. They're charging you like annual fees. They're charging you additional fees. They're charging you all kinds of crazy fees. Like it's really crazy. You'll be, and on top of that, they're giving you a one. They're giving you a very low limit. Like maybe they'll start you at $300, and they're charging you like $100 right away in fees, which means that you only have $200 to spend on the card. Okay, so that's for Destiny Mastercard. You have the Fit Platinum Mastercard. You want to avoid this card also. Very important. The Fit Platinum Mastercard. You have the Indigo Mastercard. Indigo Mastercard is actually another card that doesn't get the job done if you're trying to build credit. I mean, you can build credit with those cards though, but the process becomes too expensive for nothing, really. Like you kind of realize that those card providers are looking at you as a as a credit card holder as a cash cow. So you have the Indigo Mastercard, you have Milestone Mastercard, you have the Reflex Platinum Mastercard. This is another card to really to avoid big time. You have the Surge Platinum Mastercard. You want to avoid this card also. Okay. You have the Total Visa card, the Total Visa credit card. And then you have the Verve credit card. So the Verve credit card, you want to avoid it also, like at all costs. Now there are also some cards that can only be used at certain retailers. And there are three important credit cards that I want to really mention here. So you have the Net First Platinum card. Then you have the Horizon Gold card. And then you have the WebBank Fingerhut Fedi credit card. Now those credit cards can only be used at certain retailers, which means what? It means that if you don't shop at those retailers, you are really penalized big time. You're really punished because they're forcing you. Like imagine if you don't shop at NetFirst, for instance, or Horizon Gold, if you don't shop at one retailer that's approved by those three providers, that's double punishment because number one, you'll be buying stuff that you don't want. Number two, you'll be shopping at a place that you don't like at all. Okay, so something to really think about. Now there is a reason to go through this credit cards because this credit cards actually will help you build credit as well. But the question is, build credit at what cost? I mean, I understand you want to build credit. Okay, you're looking for unsecured credit card with bad credit with no deposits, instant approval. That's true. But what's the cost here? Okay, what's the because it has to be a give and take, right? There has to be a certain elements of give and take. So what happens here? Why should you go with this card? Okay, it's just better to go with the Pedal One Visa, the Prosper card, the Sin Mastercard, or the Brightway credit card. I mean, that's just a lot better. But hey, if you have to go with any of those five credit cards that I'm just sharing with you here, just be aware that maybe you want to switch your buying processes so you can shop at one of the retailers where this credit card provider has have I mean where they have agreements, for instance. So what what's the overall picture here? When you think about credit cards for bad credit with no instant with no deposits, instant approval, you have to understand that things can be a little complicated, right? If you have limited or no credit history, securing an unsecured credit card can be achieved through various options. So, and this this include student credit cards for bad credit, and those that may offer higher initial approval odds. Okay, so think about student credit cards too. So if you are a student with no credit history, you can actually get a card. Like you can get cards from Discover, for instance. You can even get Chase. Like Chase Bank offers student credit cards that don't require a security deposit and function like regular credit cards. You also have credit cards for bad credit. I think I said this to you before. Okay, so the Capital One Platinum Mastercard, the Avon credit card, and also a Credit One Bank Platinum Visa. You also have cards with higher approval odds. Okay, some cards like the Chase Freedom Rise credit card may offer better approval chances for you if you have limited credit, especially if you have a checking account or savings account with Chase or the issuing bank in general. Okay, you can also think about a cosigner. So having a trusted individual like a parent or spouse co-sign for an unsecured credit card can also improve the approval odds. Okay, you also have building credit. So once you have an unsecured credit card, building a positive credit history involves consistent on-time payments and keeping your credit utilization low. Okay, ideally under 30% of your limits. You also have alternatives to unsecured credit cards. So if an unsecured card is not immediately available or attainable for you, consider a secured credit card, which requires a security deposit that becomes your credit limits, right? So this is something to really think about. So in terms of specific card examples, you have the Capital One Platinum MasterCard, and you have Discover It Secured Credit Card, the Pedal 2 Visa Credit Card, the Arrow Credit Card, the Credit One Bank Platinum Visa for rebuilding credit, and then you have the Prosper Card. I think I've spoken to you at length about the Prosper Card. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about credit cards for bad credit with no deposit, instant approval. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.